Hey there, Datalore. Happened upon your video about questions for an atheist. I was just in the mood to find some and address them, and I think you bring up some good points. So I'm going to take another stab at this. Kind of got on some tirades here in my first response to you, so I'll try to keep it pretty concise and hopefully keep within my 10-minute limit here. So you bring up some good points and things worthy of being addressed, so let's get to them.
The first one would be the fact that you always hear creationists say that evolution or atheists believe that everything came from nothing.
Okay, first thing, yes, you do hear that a lot. It is a common creationist claim that all atheists believe that something came from nothing. Now, I like your little Freudian slip, too, with the whole atheist evolutionist thing, because I'm guessing in your mind the two are one and the same. If you're an evolutionist, you don't believe in God, therefore you're an atheist. However, I have had a lot of actually very interesting discussions with people who do believe in God, and are perfectly fine accepting evolution. The only thing that really prevents you from doing that is being a literal reader of the Bible. Now, let's get on to this whole something from nothing.
My first question, I suppose, would be, do you believe that as an atheist? Now, my second question would be, if you do, why? If you do not, why not? And if you have evidence, please present it.
Okay. All right. Now, if I have evidence, which I don't, the Big Bang Theory is actually very, very speculative, but it does not anywhere say that everything came about from nothing. There were always the building blocks out there, and conditions were just right. Just go to Wikipedia, type in Big Bang. It'll tell you a lot of information there. It'll kind of break it down. It's a good starting point. There's a lot of stuff out there from people much more qualified than I to speak on the specifics. However, it does not imply that something came forth from nothing. Now, if I can just ask you that question, just kind of turn it around for you, is that not exactly the creationist position? Is that something came about from nothing? Through the act of will or voice or whatever from a supernatural entity who cannot be tested for, everything came into existence just through the power of his voice as described in the Bible. So where's the evidence from that other than the Bible?
I know my answers to these questions when asked, but I'm curious as to what other atheists think. And then
Okay, so again, if you know your answers, what are they? How did life start? How did the universe start? How is the creationist claim that God, especially the Judeo-Christian God, not just any God, brought everything about as put forth in the Bible? Because you don't accept any other supernatural creation myths, just the literal biblical one. And I'm sorry if I'm projecting onto you, and you're not a Christian / literal reader of the Bible, and I'm in the wrong. If I am, please correct me. But otherwise, where is your evidence other than the Bible? Which again just begs the question, because people believe it to be true because it says it's true, and that's not logical. So, what you got?
also, do you accept the Big Bang? And
Okay, yes, I think the Big Bang is, in fact, the most acceptable theory at this time as to how the universe came to be what we know the universe to be.
kind of the same deal with everything from nothing. And I suppose abiogenesis, because I personally don't believe that evolution really embraces abiogenesis. Uh,
Okay, again, the Big Bang doesn't posit that something came from nothing, and then you just kind of lump abiogenesis in there, which is the origin of life, which again is not something from nothing. The building blocks were there. Again, while you're on Wikipedia, look up the Miller-Urey experiments. It's a very famous study about how life could have come about in, proposed early Earth situations. The chemical compounds and whatnot. look it up. Again, they are two separate things, which I think you do actually recognize that evolution and biogenesis are not the same thing, the same way Big Bang and abiogenesis are not the same thing. The origin of the universe, the origin of life, and the evolution of that life are three separate categories.
In itself in the theory, so it's two separate things. Just like the Big Bang theory is different from the theory of evolution. Anyway.
Okay, let me just throw this out there too. Evolution actually is truly agnostic. Evolution works if God put life here. Evolution works if aliens seeded life, which you get to in just a second. And it works if things arose 100% purely naturally or in any other unconceived, unknown way in which life got to be here. The theory of evolution is a fact. And I know you don't believe that, but it's a fact.
My second question, and this is one I find a little more interesting.
Oh, and this is good.
I was told that evolution doesn't work unless aliens seeded the planet.
You were told that evolution doesn't work unless aliens seed the planet. Who told you this? And why do you believe this? Do you not say, dude, you're an effing crackpot? All atheists do not believe this. There are probably some who do. I think it's actually, personally, a more viable choice than believing in a supernatural entity for whom there's no proof. But again, we get into the whole infinite regress thing. I mean, intelligent design, in effort to be agnostic, says that, it might be aliens. But again, where did the aliens come from? As you point out later, you talk about Expelled. Dawkins even talks about that. That the aliens would have had to have come from somewhere. They either would have had to have arisen through some sort of evolutionary process, or they would have had to have been created by something. So again, the only way to prevent infinite regress is to create this supernatural being that is outside of time and has existed through everything, and then just one day got bored and decided to make a universe. So.
And I would like to know how many atheists actually believe this, because I was told all atheists believe this, or they can't accept evolution as facts. So I want to know how many of you accept evolution as fact, and how many of you believe aliens seeded the planet. And if it wasn't aliens, then where did we come from? Would be the question.
Okay, if it wasn't aliens, where did we come from? Again, I'm perfectly content saying I don't know, but it's probably natural processes. Because again, God is supernatural and there's no evidence for a God. So let's keep trucking here.
And I know evolution has nothing to do with that. So.
Wait, did you just say you know that evolution has nothing to do with where life came from? Good. It doesn't. Again, abiogenesis, evolution, two separate things.
But anyway, try to answer the questions to the best of your ability. If you answer the questions. I just found it interesting. And this guy's evidence was from the movie Expelled, where Dawkins talked about aliens seeding the planet Earth.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he tried to use that as saying that Dawkins believes that. Personally, I don't think Dawkins does believe that. And from interviews I saw about how he was tricked into making the movie and all that. But my 3 minutes are up, so.
Okay, yeah, Dawkins was tricked into doing that. He does not believe that. Whoever's telling you these things, they're either having a laugh or they're just as poorly informed as you are, because you're continuing to propagate these claims that all creationists believe that something came from nothing, and Freudian slip on my own, that all evolutionists / atheists believe that something came from nothing, and that for some reason all atheists believe that life was put here by aliens. Neither of those are the case. So let me just put it back to you. My question of where's your evidence for God creating the universe as described in the Bible without using the Bible as an example? Thank you much.